awesome. And no, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
insights.
you.
And so, crap and crap.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
You're very welcome to stick around. We now go back to Myanmar, like your neighbors. So, Myo, you're here to talk about finance and changing the world. Myo?
Hello.
Hey there. Oh, I see you now. So
Yep.
you're dialing from Yangon?
Yes.
You know, we had Dr. Swam from Yangon this morning. Do you guys know each other? You're from the same hub?
Yeah, I knew him. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Excellent. Like one of the reasons why we're inviting different Shaper hubs for different months in which you're hosting Neo is so that you have this vibe of, hey, I know him and stuff. Just feels like, I like comparing with the housewarming pots. It's like, hey, I met you before. How is that? Great to have you here. And we already took 5 minutes from your time. So a quick intro. You are also from Global Shapers community, and you're working with the IFC. And I am particularly impressed at how much you managed to achieve, considering that you're based in a really, really difficult country that is not very internationally connected at all. So please tell us what's your magic, what can come out of your hat that other people can benefit from?
Sure. So shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for having me here. My name is Myo Kyaw, and I'm from Myanmar. So before I share my story, my childhood experiences, lesson learned, and wisdom, maybe I would like to share a little bit about my country, through which I would like to share how 3 values like hope, grit, and loving kindness shape Myanmar as a country and me personally. So Myanmar is a country in South Asia and bordered by like Bangladesh, India, China, Laos, and Thailand. So we are pretty much between 2 of the most populated country in the world. So since 1962, the military government has been under direct or indirect control over the country. So the first openly contested elections since 1990 were held only recently in 2015. So basically, we have been living under the military government for like over 50 years. So during these 50 years, we have experienced things that most of the people in other countries had never experienced or never dared to experience. We didn't have access to basic infrastructure like even water, telecommunication, internet, or electricity. Education system was broken, and there's no such thing as like free speech or freedom of expression. So we were kind of like living in a dark room or above it, like until 2015. So my childhood experiences may be different to like normal 15 or 17 years old, as I have been shaped by these events and system. So I came from a lower middle class family, and I attended a normal public school. So in school, we have to memorize everything, and we could not question our teachers. We could not talk about politics, and we were taught to obey the elders. So we could not really think outside the box, and we didn't have a chance to really develop our creative mind. One of the good things that my parents instilled in me is reading. So my dad, he used to buy me a lot of books, fishing, non-fishing, cartoon. So through these books, they began a windows to the world for me. I learned about other cultures, other countries, and about other peoples through books. So after high school, I got accepted to medical school, one of the best university in Myanmar. Most of the parents, they wanted to attend their kids to medical school. So I went there for like 3 months, and I realized that it's not really for me. So I dropped out of medical school after 3 months, and I tried to study in another country. So by applying scholarship, different scholarship. So it took me like 5 years to finally get accepted to a university in Hong Kong with full scholarship. One of the things that keep me moving under these 5 years, I think, is hope. Hope that things will get better. Hope that one day I will achieve what I want to achieve. I think it's the same with the political prisoners and most of the people in Myanmar. I think hope is one of the things that keep moving. And we try our best not to lose hope, even if things are moving in the opposite directions, everything is falling into pieces, or like darkness seems to be always hovering over us. We try to be hopeful that tomorrow things will get better. So I think hope's one of the values that I think which keep moving. Another thing I think which motivate me to try to achieve my goal and Myanmar people to keep fighting for democracy, I think is great. I think it's a combination of the power of passion and perseverance. I think it's easy to give up when things are really bad, but we have to understand that as long as we keep moving, we will finally achieve our goal. So we shouldn't lose hope and keep rolling with grit. And I then find a value that I learned throughout this year, I think is loving kindness. As a Buddhist, we were taught about loving kindness, which we call metta since childhood. We're taught to treat everyone equally, to love other people selflessly, and to look out for humanity and society. I think it's also easy to talk. It's really difficult to practice. It's not easy to not to hate your enemies, not to treat other people the same, and to love your strangers like your family members. But if we are able to practice, I think loving kindness, I think the world may be in a better place. And I think you will find it easy to interact with other people from different cultures, different countries, and I think different religion. So I think these three values, I think that I wish young people to have. Young people should lose hope, and should try to develop their grip, and should practice like loving kindness wherever they can. I think these values, I think, can really bring you a long way. Yeah, that's what I learned throughout this year. I think that these are like three values that I learned. Yeah.
Maybe, thanks for that. Maybe you want to share a bit more about your experience working with the World Economic Forum, how you became a shaper, and your work with IFC as well, and what people can learn and maybe follow parts of your journey.
Sure. So I studied in Hong Kong for 3 years. So even in Hong Kong, I tried to kind of like use all the opportunity that I was given. So I tried to volunteer a lot. I tried to do internship. I tried to participate in other society, other cultures. So I really learned a lot about other people, other cultures in Hong Kong. And then I came back to Myanmar in 2015. And I started working for one of the international law firm here in Myanmar. So all these university experience really helped me to interact with different people from different cultures and different countries. And I joined Global Shaper in 2016, 17, around that time. And because I really want to contribute something back to the community for the people in Myanmar. So I joined Global Shaper, and we had like different activities. We tried to mentor high school students, university students. We tried to interact with different diplomats, and then I started. So I joined. After that, I joined IFC in 2019, and at the same time, I started the first sign language cafe in Myanmar, because I saw the need for the awareness about disability in Myanmar, and people like disabled people are not really respected because of like culturally or like traditionally. So like disability is considered as kind of like have a negative connotation, and people consider disability as kind of what. So if you had done something in the past, in your previous life, you are born with disability, that kind of like concept or mentality in Buddhism is really force people to look down to disabled people. So I want to kind of create positive image for disabled community. So I started the first sign language cafe. in Myanmar. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, we have to close down our cafe recently. So for IFC, I'm currently working for a banking sector. So we are currently giving advisory service to few local banks here in Myanmar. So we are helping them with restructuring, digital transformation, and other restructuring. So we're giving them advice in order to improve their system, their infrastructures, and their operations. So I'm working as a consultant for one of the local banks.
Very cool. So what are your grand plans for the future? I mean, of course, COVID is not going to be an issue forever. Are you getting back into the cafes, or maybe you want to establish a virtual cafe where people can have conversations? Because this environment with the Wisdom Accelerator, you might have noticed it is super relaxed.
Yeah.
You know, just friends have chat, right? You know, just friends with amazing life stories and willing to make connections. So I compare it often with a housewarming party. You know, it's just there.
Yes.
And of course, we do respect people's time, and they have the tolerance of around 5 minutes, in most cases, for delays. But maybe you could do something similar. Just start as an online community, especially considering that Myanmar.
So I'm planning to start a kind of like virtual platform for disabled people. Like I'm trying to call it like passion project. So I want to showcase the ability of like the disabled community. Like I have met a lot of talented people with like disability. They can really draw. They can create artwork, but they don't really have access to market like normal people. So I plan to do a similar kind of like platform like for disabled community in the future.
Well, thank you very much, Myo, for your presentation. I would actually ask you a question, or just point out one thing. You know, you were talking about trying to bridging this gap between you so-called disabled people and normal people, and I think your idea of using media to do this, or to go ahead, is one of the major issues of, or one of the major big points of media, is just to bridging such gaps. Unless, of course, you don't have people. I think in Myanmar the problem is that people don't have the ability to use this media because they don't have either a connectivity, or they don't have like a tool to connect with that. And I think starting with a real cafe is a good idea. And I think the next step might really be the way you're going, like trying to empower people to, especially who cannot travel because somehow they're in a wheelchair, to participate to events, of course, in a mediated way. So I think that, of course, if they don't have connectivity, your initiative may be just to temporarily or permanently allow them this access. And then not only the access to technology, but the access to events you plan for them or with them. So I think this could be really a very good idea. And thinking about such concepts may bring your initiative quite big steps ahead, because once they realize that they can still participate, even if they are not able to be there in a real way, in a virtual way, participation may also be nowadays something which helps. And, you know, if you look at countries where the connectivity is much more advanced, such initiatives exist already. So maybe you get some inspiration by such places where really initiatives of like, so not disabled, because I think all of us have such a sort of disability somewhere, but not disabled people try to connect or try to help disabled or people to connect with them, not only like that talking, but let them participate to activities or to initiatives or to discussions or to forums or to podiums. This is something very, very nice. And actually, I think if you pursue this idea and you try to implement also this mediated way of connecting the people, the disabled people with others, that could bring society ahead and make the world make the world definitely a better place. So I think it's a really good idea, and I wish you to be successful. And if you need some inspiration relate to that, or even some manpowers, I think we may also be able to connect you to very, very to gifted and motivated teenagers which may have capabilities to help you to set up or to run such things. Because the good thing also about new media, they don't have to sit necessarily in Myanmar. You may have really connection of these people in Myanmar with the other part of the world. I don't know how much the government is just breaking down such initiatives. That's up to you to decide that. But if you can go around this barrier, so-called barrier, you may really give them a big opportunity not only to open their window to their country, but maybe open their window to the world. And that, I think, would be really something amazing and something very nice to achieve. So thank you very much for your initiative.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, I think really a good advice. Yeah.
The other thing I recommend you get in touch with Fanny Yu, who was a speaker yesterday. We can send you her session. She is a disability champion based in California, and maybe you guys can do something together. So if you join the Way LinkedIn group, she's already there.
Okay. Okay.
And her background is as a banker with Goldman Sachs, so you guys can talk finance as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have similar background there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
I guess we'll move on to the next speaker joining us from Brunei, of all places, right? And
thank you.
Well,